have been scored for the loss of 2 wickets. England need a further 210. India need a further effective 6 wickets because we know that Chris Woakes isn't going to bat. But in overcast conditions, there have been some deliveries which have troubled the batters. Siraj unlucky to have not gotten more than 2 wickets. Lots of plays and misses. Duck at 54, but Harry Brook's cameo of 38 of 30 has given England some serious momentum. Test match, the odds are still saying India 75%, England 25%. Draw is, I think, out of the equation because you will get a result come what may today itself. Looking at the way how it is scored, supposing another 114 runs, final session under 2.5 hours, you can easily get it. Or 6 wickets. So, gentlemen, what do you think? Still advantage India or England are slowly but surely creeping into that territory wherein is it giving you Leeds, Edgbaston vibes?
You know, where you stand at the moment, Siddharth, and looking at how the wicket is, it won't be unfair on anyone if you're thinking about the horrors of Leeds. It's exactly how the series had begun, where you were looking at a mountainous task for the home team to go on and chase, but the conditions are starkly different now in the final match. However, one thing I will say is that this pitch is not as green as we thought, or as it was on the first couple of days. Clearly, there's a lot more brown on this surface that you see, and it doesn't look as menacing now. However, there is some assistance, as we saw with some of the Indian wickets yesterday, today as well. The ball that wobble seam jagging back in and getting the wicket of Ollie Pope. You are 50-50 at the moment. You're not too comfortably seated. Definitely India ended with a lot of momentum yesterday with that second last delivery of the day. Getting a wicket on the penultimate delivery is just huge bonus for any team. But today I would say it's been a mixed bag of a day from an Indian perspective, from an Indian team perspective. You would have wanted to concede lesser runs in the opening session. You've conceded over 100 runs. They've operated close to 4.72 and over.
I thought they were operating just over 4, but no, they're just under 5.
Actually,
about 5.
Just about 5 runs and over, and that had to do with that Harry Brook assault. But just summing up my thoughts, I think it's 50-50 as far as this session is concerned. I think another session like that and then India are really in a spot of bother.
I mean, if you have another 110, 120 runs
For just 2 wickets.
Then you are under 100.
Yes, then you're under 100 and then you'll still be a good couple of wickets away. So you need this session, like was the case yesterday when India pulled things back day before. When India pulled things back in the second session, you need something like that. Otherwise, it's soon. You're not too far away from panic stations. Let's put it that way.
When will India start to panic? When you need less than 100 or less than 50?
No, I think less than 150.
You'll start to panic when you're less than 150.
I think that's where maybe you'll start to think, okay, we need to try something different. But coming back to the first question that you posed at Harshad, I think it's still absolutely fine in India's favor. Like, we'll get to the predictions later because I am effectively seeing this thing as 164 for 4. India, they had kept England to 50 for 2 yesterday. Zach Crawley was out and Woakes, we all know, is not going to bat. 164 for 4. Yes, they have gotten some kind of momentum with Brook taking Prasidh Krishna to cleaners. But overall, I think it's still a pretty 50-50 session. At least I agree with Harshit on that front because of the drop that Siraj did on the boundary. Because had he taken that catch, clearly a session in India's favor.
Although, let us remind you, he took the catch, but his foot touched the
Yeah,
ball.
absolutely. Yeah. So I think that's where it's a 50-50 session. But the second question that you asked, that when would India start to panic? I think somewhere about, let's say if England need around 120, 130 odd runs, which is about 150 you said, and still they are at the same position. Like then, no wickets
England
have fallen.
Are clear favorites.
Then clearly it's going to be panic stations because see, 164 for 4. What you need early in the second session is a good couple of wickets, and by the couple of wickets, what I mean here is that Root has to depart cheaply. He is the one. Yeah. He is the one who proved to be the difference in Leeds.
Yes.
Once again in Lords, when England needed someone to just hang in there, he got to a patient 100, and now he is still standing on the crease. So I think for Root to be dismissed is one of the things that would be on Shubman Gill's mind.
Do you think, let's see, okay, looking at the way how the England batters played today, okay, there hardly seems to be some movement. It's not troubling them that much. Overcast conditions, but the Duke's ball isn't doing that fair bit, okay. Plays and misses have happened. Do you think, barring Siraj, Prasidh and Akashdeep have been too wayward? Because you saw Akashdeep kind of lose his line. 5 wides he gave. Prasidh, again, when he was attacked, he resorted to bowling short. He didn't bowl that full delivery, that got the fuller length that got ducket. Do you think now, when you are put under the pump, barring a Siraj, the other two are now starting to flounder, and that is where England can capitalize on it? And the second part of it, looking at the way how things are going on, time to bring your two spinners?
I think it's at least time to bring in Washington Sundar. I'm not really sure if I can have any trust in Jadeja, the bowler, as far as this series is concerned. Had this been a subcontinent type of conditions, I would have obviously said bring in Jadeja, just let him make that pressure, and from the other end the pressure is going to build, someone can strike. You need to bring in Washington Sundar. See, one thing is for sure, that the same three bowlers, Akashdeep, Prasidh, Mohammed Siraj, they did bulk of the bowling in the first innings also. There are going to be some tired legs here. So just to give someone that cushion, you need to go with one spinner and Mohammed Siraj from the other end. And my starting attack for the second session would be Siraj and Washington Sundar.
I mean, now if you look at it, Mohammed Siraj has bowled 167 overs and counting in this series.
And you're looking at least another 10 overs or so.
And correct me if I'm wrong, he bowled 160 overs in the BGT.
In the BGT, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so he's
155, 160.
Yeah, 155 odd. Yeah.
Talk about a tired body, but he continues to just bowl on and on and on and on. Well, then, Harshit, what do you think? Where our two Indian bowlers, barring a Mohammed Siraj, the other two, Prasidh and Akashdeep, too wayward? And when Prasidh gets attacked, do you think he doesn't have a plan B, just resorts to bowling short? I mean,
see, a little unlucky for Prasidh that the wickets column only reads 1 at the moment. It should have been 2 if it wasn't for that error of judgment on part of Siraj. He got it, but his heel ended up touching the rope. However, with Prasidh, I see that it's exactly the way the series has been for him in a nutshell. That he can be wayward. This is something that we saw in Leeds to begin with. We're again getting to see that in this session as well. The thing with his height and the way that he bowls is, yes, he can get that extra bit of bounce, and which is where he gets those wickets as well. But the one Achilles heel that I feel for Prasidh Krishna is consistency in his lines and lengths. He can just spray the ball over at times. Had it been a case, let's say, of a Josh Tongue in this particular match, where he was spraying it across but was also doing enough to get the ball in the right area and produce that wicket taking ball, that is what we saw from him in both the innings, that he would have the ability to be inconsistent but also produce a wicket taking ball here and there. With Prasidh, at times it's there, at times it's not there. For the large part of this session, he's been very average. Yes, he managed to produce that session, but you're not getting, if I'm Siraj, I'm looking for complementary support. I'm not being complimented enough. I'm not getting that complementary support from the other end. And this is where, and I think this is where England have realized that they can't really attack a Siraj, but they can attack a Prasidh Krishna, because he will. That has been the case with him. You go back, watch his bowling innings in Leeds as well. One odd ball here and there will be good in an over, but he will fail to produce 2, 3, 4 good overs on the trot. That's exactly what Siraj does for you. So with Prasidh, I think this is something he will have to work on. He's not a finished product as yet as far as Test cricket is concerned, but he needs to understand the value of pressure building on the opposition with dot balls.
Containing.
Yes, that is something he needs to learn, because like right now as well, that you'll take that economy only in ODIs and you'll be happy with it. But if you're bowling at 5.7, and I remember when he came back into the series as well, remember he was dropped at that time. His numbers in terms of economy read in excess of 5. So that was also perhaps one of the reasons why he wasn't taken in the previous match. That is something Prasidh Krishna going forward will have to figure out.
I mean, Prasidh, yet again, I mean, he's had a kind of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of a thing.
Good one.
When he is good, he can show that he's very good. But when he's bad, he's really bad. I mean,
Just like KL Rahul. Rahul, when
you're
he
right.
gets going, see, there was also, there was also a time when there was this comparison that when KL Rahul gets going, he looks even better than someone like a Virat Kohli, Kane Williamson, and all the, Fab Four that we talk about. But when he's bad, he's like just terrible. That's what's the case with Prasidh Krishna also. When he gets the ball to jack back in, there is the swing, the bounce, he looks apart. So was the case in the IPL also when he was using his cutters pretty effectively, ended with a great economy also. But now when he goes for runs, I think that's where he lacks a plan B. He basically went for runs after Harry Brook was dropped. So there is, some shift in momentum. Probably, there is a change in mindset also that, I worked a lot hard. Unfortunately, he could not, Siraj could not really held on to that catch. But overall, if you talk about that's the kind of, mind shift that you need. Okay, that's fine. It happens in cricket. Let's just move on. Let's just try and, produce another wicket taking delivery. So you're literally giving the batter that extra cushion that you are mentally down after what happened just a couple of deliveries ago.
I mean, to add on to that point, after the onslaught towards the fag end, the cameras did pan to Siraj. He was looking like, have I actually blundered here? That is the kind of phase that he's at. But then see, 210 runs should give you still a bit of a sufficient cushion. But then we know this is a long session that we're going to have. 2 hours and 15 minutes that you're going to have. 8:25 is tea, 8:45. And then 11:30 is the long session. If England are gunning for a victory or India are gunning for a victory,
go
you can
until
take an
12 also.
additional half an hour.
I think the first half hour is really going to be
Crucial.
also because see, if I understand how England have played, and this is exactly how they started in the first innings as well, I think the idea will be to not hold back in the first 20-30 minutes. If they're able to get about 35-40 odd runs in the first half hour without the loss of any wicket, quick runs does more damage. There is plenty of time left in in this test match. Both the teams know that. But if England are to run away with this match and not allow India any time to recalibrate, of course, these 40 minutes will help India in terms of putting on some sort of brakes to this England partnership that is brewing very quickly now. But if you are to get back into the match, India need a breakthrough in that first 15-20 minutes. Well, otherwise, I see genuine panic stations in the Indian dressing room. And I won't be surprised if England then just take things away.
Yeah, because see,
and this is this half hour, I believe, is the difference then between a 2-2 and a 3-1.
3-1.
I think what's still encouraging is that these are not, Leeds or Edgbaston type conditions. There's still, plenty of movement for the bowlers. I understand that, the pitch has flattened out a little bit more than what it was on day 3. But still, if you ask me, 164 for 4, 210 more needed, 6 wickets. Can these 3 Indian bowlers do the job? I think that's still possible.
There are shades of an Edgbaston 22. I'll tell you why. Because you remember that towards the 3rd and the 4th day, it did become slightly difficult to bat. I mean, India had that cluster collapse, remember? They were bundled out for the under 200. They had a lead of about 180 or 70, but then they got bundled out for about 180 or 190. Then England chased it down and they had a 50-run opening stand in the very first hour that you got. Then you lost a couple of wickets when Bairstow and Root did it. And the key wicket in this entire session, if you want to break the back of England's batting, is Joe Root. Root is the key in this entire chase. If he falls, then I think in the 2 highest run chases that have happened against India, it's Root that has played a major role in that.
Yeah, and even, Jamie Smith is also going to be a threat, but not as big a threat that Joe Root is.
Yeah. See, you got even an Atkinson who can wield the willow.
He's 100 at Lords.
Yeah,
not many batters
Exactly.
have.
So that is why Root is the key here. And of course, Harry Brook and Jamie Smith, we know what damage they can do with that 100 stand that they had at Edgbaston. So that is why get Root out, then I think you got one toe in the door, that you won't shut it down totally. But I agree with Harshad, if they score another 40-50 runs, and by the end of the session, they have scored about 120, 130, only with the loss of 2 further wickets, it is panic stations.
It's going to be a bit of a gamble, but I think perhaps you will have to try out Washington Sundar as well.
Because
it's going to be a bit of a risk because England batters will come attacking. Now, what is the field set that you go with? Do you spread your fielders across, which becomes a defensive field set, or you show enough faith in Washi that okay, It's fine if they attack you, but let's come up with a plan. Let's try and see where is it that we can get him stumped or either of them stumped, because Harry Brook is not going to hold back.
Yeah.
And he's going to be the one between the two. Who do I see being the aggressor? I think we all got that answer towards the end of the session.
It is Harry Brook, yeah.
So you need his wicket. With Joe Root, he can change gears. With Harry Brook, the fact that he showed glimpses of unleashing an attack, and he sort of unleashed a mini attack on India right towards the end. It's Gulati, why it sort of reminds me of the first Test match a bit, and maybe where the Indians will also be a little I would say circumspect at the moment, or a little fearful of that eventuality, is perhaps because I see Harry Brook, those shots that he played towards the end where he is dancing down the track, he's playing inside out over deep extra cover. It tells me that the wicket isn't as menacing as it was a couple of days back. You can play your shots.
I think the menace ended yesterday itself. If you could get an Akashdeep for 66, I think the menace ended right in and right there. And that is where I think England will be feeding upon that confidence now. But see, again, we are basing our assumptions session by session. By next session, it would be 180 degrees exactly. We'll be waxing lyrical on how India pulled things back. That is how a test match is.
And
so
it could really be the other way around also. Despite me saying, and all of us probably saying that Harshit is 50-50, you are, I think, still saying that India favourites. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. But then see, now the pitch has become brown. It is no longer green. So try and get your spinners as much as possible. What will happen is two things. One, in the quest to attack, they will lose their wickets. Or second, they might slow the rate down, by which England may have to ensure that, okay, we try something audacious and reckless. They will slow the pace down of the wicket.
That's what you saw. I think, Siddharth, in Leeds was not about baseball. Leeds was about calculated risk. There was a bit of risk, but it was calculated risk.
But that time you had only one spinner, right, in Jadeja. You didn't have a second spinner.
Washi, you did.
Here, they have struggled against Washi. Let's make no mistake about it.
Where that little bit of fear comes in for me, and why I'm 50-50. 210 runs is a lot of runs. And truth be told, where things were yesterday, it had to be India's game. But why I'm 50-50 at the moment is because Leeds showed us that this England side, as Ben Stokes had said and promised at the start of the series, that at the end of the day what matters is results, and it can't just be aggressive cricket. It has to be cricket with a winning mentality. You need to apply your brains a bit, and in Leeds that's what I think we saw. If you could, and I remember, yes, I think it's from no, it's not from Leeds. I think it's from Old Trafford. It's from the Lord's first innings that England were playing at 3.02 and over, and that was the lowest since the start of the baseball era. So what I'm trying to get to is that this England side in Leeds and at Lord's has shown that they know how to switch gears. Now they are willing to switch gears and keep their obsession for aggressive cricket aside, and this is where that little fear that comes in at the moment is from that, because they got that chase because of some mastery. Let's not forget, it wasn't an easy chase, but they got there.
Because you need to beat England at their own game. It's as simple as that.
That's with the bat then.
No, I'm saying, with the ball. The point is, Brendan McCullum, when he was the captain of New Zealand, one thing that he had said was, let's just try and, have attacking field settings. Even if we, give away a few runs, that's absolutely fine. But in a quest to do that, we'll at least, in a quest to, get those wickets, we are ready to, give away some runs. That's what I think India need to do. Have Washington Sundar, don't spread out the field much, have some fielders at those catching positions, and then see how it really works. Either it's going to work or it's not going to work. It's as simple as that. But this is, I think, this is literally an important session.
But Gulati, there is a problem, because agreed, it's a noble thought. That is the way how convention should operate.
McCullum has always, gone about his work. Even Stokes did it.
This series is a contrast of being audacious and being overcautious. You know who I am referring to. The Indian management and the Indian team ethos is safety first. A McCullum won't fit in the Indian ethos. A Virat Kohli, that was the last time you had someone do this. I need 4 out and out fast bowlers. I said attacking fields, that's it. Now, where has this safety first approach come from? I really don't know. Either it is the scar of losing 2 WTC finals, either it is your uncertainty of how your technique is at home.
Or the scar of losing 2 series on the trot and staring at a third.
Broader, if you look at it, see, even with the safety first approach, which started in the BGT, Series 1 will still remain 0. Series 1 will still remain 0. So that's why I agree, they should go for the attack. But what if they go for the attack, attacking fields, you're taking 2 wickets, but you've already leaked 150 runs. What do you do then?
No, that's a lot of runs then. Can't leave 2.
Because I'm looking at the rate at which they're going. 30 overs, 150 runs is not impossible for this England team.
No, but you need to slow down. You can't be conceding 150 runs each session.
Yeah.
Eventually, if that's how it works, and you're losing 2 to 3 wickets for 150 runs in a day, you're scoring 450 runs. It doesn't happen that way.
Because see, you are about 42 overs away from the new ball.
I think I remember last week we said this day 3 first session. We said that this is series defining, where England were cruising in Manchester. And I remember us saying over here that this is a series defining session coming up. First session, day 3. I think now though, the second session, penultimate day, last test match, this is where the series gets decided. If it's a session that goes in England's favour, the series is done and dusted.
I don't think that's happening. I think we are going into the final session.
Of course, we are going.
Which is why
He's saying it could decide the course.
So for either team, if India are to level this series, they need this session to go their way. Otherwise, I believe it gets too late if things go into the final session.
Yeah.
Remember, there's a Jamie Smith who didn't have a good outing the previous time, but first half of the series he's looked absolutely beautiful.
Was England's best batter?
Exactly.
So
there is a certain threat in a Jamie Smith. Yes, last couple of innings haven't gone his way, but Jamie Smith is another threat out there. Gus Atkinson, as he showed, he's got a test 100 as well, which he got not too long back. He showed signs of batting in the first innings as well. So there is some more batting to come.
Okay,
and India need wickets.
Let me present a scenario.
India need wickets in this session.
Supposing England need 10 or 9 runs to win, and Chris Wokes then. Will he risk it all and come out to bat?
Absolutely, he will.
But he can bat, right? Is it in the rules that if you're absent hurt in the first innings, you can't come out to bat?
No.
In the second innings?
No, it's nothing like that.
What do you think, Harshit?
I think
if suppose you need 8 or 9 runs and only 1 wicket is there, will Wokes come out to bat?
I think he will.
Then he is coming out to bat, no matter what.
Okay. Yeah. So, see, this is now going to be a 2-hour, 15-minute session. And when you look at it, it's going to be very, very interesting as to how India bounce back from this. Because this has been a shared session.
So, 8:25 is the time that we meet.
8:25 is tea. And you'll have a 20-minute break. Then 8:45 to 11:30. But if you're gunning for a result, say you need 20 runs more or 15 runs more, you will then go until 12. If it's a victory that you're going for. So that's why it's not going to be easy at all in this way. So, okay, let's take a couple of comments because we have only 13 minutes to go for the restart of the second session then. And by the way, no rain expected as predicted in the morning. There was no rain. When you look at this session, a patch of rain is expected, but it won't wash out the session entirely. Yeah. So forget about the rain break and everything in that sense. So Nandan Sharma is saying, Nas said 320. How with 3 paces? Needed 450.
Yeah, absolutely. See, I'm not saying that I agree with 450. I still feel that 374 is a good job that India did while setting this target. But with 3 pacers, I think in terms of workload, I would have wanted a 4th pacer. But I think overall, if you're asking 450, I think that's too much. 374 is still a very competitive target on this surface.
See, you have never chased 263 plus at the Oval ever.
253.
63. 1902.
West Indies.
No, 1902. England, Australia.
Okay.
Yeah. No, 253, but that came at a losing cost. Yeah. Winning cost was 263. But remember, the precedence is Sri Lanka chased on 219 for the loss of only 2 wickets. in 2024 at the same venue.
It's not so long ago. That's what we discussed. No?
Yeah, it was in September.
Just about a year back. Not even a year back for that
exactly.
matter. Yeah.
So that is why. That's what Naveen Narayan is saying. Our bowlers have no ideas at this point in time. Which is why, is it just audacious batting or our bowlers really lacked a plan?
I think it's, to an extent, I think it's fatigue also. Because when you're shouldering most of the workload, it's never easy. It's really, really never easy. I think this is where, I don't know what's really going to be the result of the match, but I think India are absolutely a bowler shot, a pace bowler shot.
A pace bowler shot at this point in time. Anshu Mishra, Sarat Chandra Singh. England are susceptible to in-swingers and wobble seam. Hope Oz are watching it. I mean, yeah, they are. But then see, if you look at it, Akashdeep and Siraj tried angling it in for most of the session. Credit to Root that he's played it out well. Pope, I think, he starts well and then he absolutely fades down. And that's why this has happened in this particular time. Slave of freedoms is like saying. Slave of freedoms. Kuldeep could have been handy. Even if Brooks hit him, he would have got wicket. What is the use of talking about Kuldeep, yaar?
I cry over spilt milk, yaar.
Exactly.
Slave
Forget
of
about
freedom,
it.
We are enslaved to that mentality of having an extra batter.
Which is why, see, could you have dropped a Washington Sundar? No, he's doing well with the bat.
Not a
Could
Jadeja.
you have dropped a Ravindra Jadeja? 516 runs, the only Indian to have hit 500 plus runs at number 6 and above, below. How could you drop him?
And only the one time that he got dismissed in the second innings was yesterday.
Yesterday. So, how dare you even think about dropping Washington and Ravindra Jadeja? The only way...
But you had an option, right? If you managed to bring in Karun Nair back, you wanted to extend your batting lineup, then you clearly... See, the priorities, we knew about it.
Yeah.
You could have taken out a Shardul. Who's Karun Nair replacing? He's replacing a Shardul Thakur. So, if you're taking out a Shardul Thakur, it was clearly your choice whether you wanted to stick with him on this green top and have his more bowling ability, and we know he's a better bowler than a batter.
Exactly. So,
Or you could have gone in with the Kuldeep, which would have been an attacking option, another attack, or an out and out seamer, basis the conditions, which is what England did. They played with 4 frontline fast bowlers.
I only hope that our esteemed analysts who are there also and people who are talking about the game here don't allow this India win. Still, you're saying that India may be slight
Don't
favorites.
let it get to your head. It's as simple
No.
as that.
Don't sweep certain issues under the carpet.
I don't think that would ever be the case. This Indian team, let's say...
Because
they
what
win-
will
they win
happen
it
is,
today.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You already got signs of it by certain people saying, oh, Manchester draw is like a win. Okay, one. Second, if you win this, you will all go into that sheep mentality by saying, oh, let's all hail Gautam Gambhir and let's all hail this current Indian cricket team. No. Your series win scoreline still reads 0 even after this. And let's make no mistake, I remember one of our family members, Ramachandran, yesterday, who said, it reminded him, this series reminds him of 2003-04 Australia. Weak bowling lineup, flat wickets, but ended up 1-1. It was a great, if we may say, it was the biggest missed chance for India. They could have won that series.
There was no...
McGrath
there was
won.
no Lee.
McGrath, Vaughan weren't there. You had a McGill who was absolutely all over the place. You had a Brad Williams.
Andy Bickle was there.
Lee came 2 matches later.
Yeah.
You had a Gillespie only who was shouldering the entire burden. Imagine you wouldn't defeat that Australian team. And somewhere down the line, if it's happening, but if it is 3-1, then I'm sorry, boss. You need a cultural change.
No, but about 7 years later also, Siddharth, don't you think we had a decent opportunity in Australia only?
2011, yes, I do. Imagine that Australian team had lost to
wasn't
New
the
Zealand after 18
yeah.
years.
Ryan Harris, who's still very young in his test career.
Siddle, Pattinson, Stark was there.
Stark.
Johnson wasn't there at all.
Yeah, well, Johnson, he was injured. You had a Hilfenhaus, you had Siddle, you had Harris, you had Pattinson, you had Stark. Imagine, you still
Nathan
lost.
Lyon?
Nathan Lyon.
Yeah, was in the first year of his career.
Correct. Yeah, so yeah. Then that's the way. GGK is saying this 2-2 win is better than first tours of Dhoni or Virat in England. Could have been 3-1 at Jadeja won a slots or catches taken in first test. For the first time after a very, very long time, GGK is talking reality.
GGK, this is 100% right of every word that you've written over there.
Imagine this is a golden chance missed here. You could have won it 3-1.
Again, this, regardless of where the series ends, of course, there will be far more to do
Yeah.
if the series ends in 3-1, which is very much a possibility from where we stand at the moment. But even then, if you're able to make it 2-2, there will still be more what ifs.
Yes. This is, I think now more than slow overrate. This will be called as a missed opportunity series for India. Very much so, because we are now.
And this, we will have a lot of time over the course of the next 1 month to talk about it before we get into that mold of T20s and Asia Cup and a lot of politics which will follow as well.
Yep. Nirmal Kumar has broken it down like a video game at this point. India needs just 3 wickets for the next 140 runs. Then last 3 wickets for 70 runs in England tail-enders will be advantage
I think
to
England
India.
tail-enders, they are much more skilled than the Indian tail-enders. Let's just not get carried away by Akashdeep's 66. I think India's tail-enders, they have been horrendous.
Also,
So,
remember how
yeah.
we started analyzing this series 2 months back? It started with the tail causing problems for India in Leeds. And what did we
How
do?
poetic it will be.
Exactly. This series can come to a full circle in so many ways. If India win, you're looking at this as a Yashasvi Jaiswal completing the circle, starting with the century, ending with
India
one.
starting the series with dropped catches. England ending with the dropped catches.
Dropped catches, exactly. There are so many circles here waiting to be completed.
Yep.
And
It'll be like a Venn diagram. 2 intersections of a circle at this point.
and perhaps for the first time in this series, though, there may be a test match that doesn't go into the final day.
Yeah. So Vishak is saying match will be decided in 45-50 overs this session. That's what even Harshit also mentioned. Will be close to 30 to 35 or so, max 1 hour after tea. Match
This
will be over
session
either
close
way.
to 35 overs?
You won't get those many.
I think 28, 29 is the max that you are getting.
20. If Sundar and Jadeja bowl at tandem, then you're getting 35. If Sundar and
No, but
Jadeja
you will
bowl
have
at
a pacer bowl from
So
one
you are
end.
saying, 30 odd overs, maybe 120, 30 more runs. Assuming there is no collapse.
You need wickets.
If you need 30 overs, 130, 80 to go, and if you've only got about 1 or 2 wickets, that has fallen.
Then it's a problem for India.
Yeah, big problem then. Very
I
big
think
problem.
it's just for that Nirmal Kumar comment, he said, 3 wickets for 140. I think it has to be 5 wickets for 140.
Yep. Piyush Nandre, India will win today itself. Those 22 runs still hurting India. I mean, see, there is a result coming today. Come whatever may, the result is coming today.
It's result day.
It's result day, but hope rain doesn't play spoil sport.
75%.
It changed.
It changed.
It changed. Now, I am not going to talk about it. I already got
Siddharth is officially not the weatherman now.
anymore. I have been
officially not.
demoted. I have been taken off that.
Typical London weather.
I told them, yaar, even the locals get it wrong. How can I get it
For
right?
once, I am on his side actually. He's not wrong because we both saw the weather together.
I
and
know.
there was,
Yeah.
a lot amount of rain predicted.
Yep, Kumar Vempalli saying like GSLV to ISRO, Siraj is to Indian team, the workhorse.
Oh.
But the workhorse is currently under tension for having stepped on the line when taking Harry Brook's wicket. So in that sense. Abhishek Singh, why did India not bowl Washi from one end as soon as Brook came? They should do it post lunch at least. He will just give a catch to the slip or hoik it in the air. Maybe that's what Gill and Gambhir are deciding. You will have to start the session with Siraj and Washi. Or if not Siraj and Washi, get Jaddu. This is his last chance to prove his mettle with the ball. Otherwise, this tour will be Jadeja, Garfield Sobers with the bat, but Ravindra Jadeja, not Garfield Sobers with the ball. So that is why it's not going to be very, very hopeful in that sense. So yes, we are only about 3 minutes away, and Anshu Mishra sir, Australia were also in the same situation at Oval. Warner Khwaja added 135 and 3 wickets after that. Head Smith pardon and head dismissed and Australia collapsed suddenly. Yes, that's what I'm saying. We are hopeful of a cluster collapse happening, and that's why even now I'm still giving India the edge. Even now. But we have seen with India, I don't know how it can happen.
So basically where we are right now is it's exactly how the first innings for England was also going, right?
Yeah.
They're also looking good till about 200, 217. That lost only, I think, 7. But then India got those 3 wickets quickly after that. So it's pretty much looking like that only as things stand. But will you get that kind of second session that you got from India on day 2? That is the thing.
Plus, I hope that it's Anshu Mishra's comment comes true because it can lead to a cluster collapse also. And England's batting is also pretty wobbly after Jamie Smith.
But then you had, Stuart Broad at that time, na? And with all due respect, I don't think India have a Stuart Broad here.
They only
you
have
good
Mohammed Siraj.
bowlers. Yeah, you have good bowlers, but that's the point. Suraj Shastri has a comment. Sidvi, are you scared of losing your house? He actually, put a bet yesterday.
I bet that a result will come today. And I'll bet my house that the result will come today.
No, I think the result is happening today. 99% it's happening.
I'm getting an additional gift, Suraj Shastri, if India make it 2-2.
Who's giving it to you? Viren?
Of course.
Viren happens to be our colleague from the writing team.
Yeah, currently he's nursing a lot of injuries that he's going to get from me also. Because he was the one who said 4-1, 4-1, 4-1 at the start. Now it's 2-2. Our predictions are coming true at this point.
Okay, GMKD has a comment that India's tour of South Africa 2021 is the most painful mischance. How India failed to not win against South Africa despite going 1-0.
Biggest mystery.
Absolutely.
Let this not be a day where we are already counting about things that didn't go our way, because there'll be another chapter to it by the end. I hope not.
Yeah.
But let's not look back in the past.
So yes, so the session timings are up here, 6:10 to 8:25, which I have said correctly. Third session until 11:30 p.m. That is also another slight, I have to give a asterisk mark, provided the light holds. Because it's August, things will now start to get darker in England quicker. It's the onset of autumn and winter. So that's why days will get shorter. So that's why, that's also an asterisk mark, 11:30, if light permits. So that's the thing. Can SA win in Australia? Dex is saying, I think. Not the T20I, but they can win the ODI series.
Absolutely, yeah. See, both teams are in transition here. South Africa are not going to have Henrik Klaasen. For Australia, there's a new bowling attack there. Although, they have Josh Hazelwood, but there's going to be no Stark and Cummins. So both teams in transition. There's no Maxwell, no Steve Smith also. Yeah. So let's see how things go.
Exactly. So yes, we are now going to start the second session. Most likely the second last. I think 99.99 was the second last session. You're not getting 210 runs in this session. I'm sorry. But there is a possibility that India can get 6 wickets in this session. Can happen.
I think it's possible.
Yeah. So let's see. We'll be back at either 8:10 or earlier. If it's earlier, you know that
8:25.
8:25, sorry. So 8:25, we'll be back. That means the match is still alive. But if we are back a bit earlier, you know what has happened. So from me, Harshit and Gulati, it is bye-bye. We'll join you second last session of this series coming up.
Most defining.
Yes. The defining point in the series. So bye-bye. See you soon.